Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Nerd Mode. This being a show where I introduce you to a series that you may or may not be familiar with. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Netflix original series, The Umbrella Academy. Like always, this isn't a review, it's just me talking about a series that I really liked and I recommend you check out for yourself. The Umbrella Academy is an action sci-fi drama where 43 women across the world all gave birth at the same time. Now, what makes this situation even more interesting is the fact is that none of them were pregnant prior. Reginald Hargraves found this whole situation interesting and sought out to adopt all of these babies. At the end of the day, he was only able to adopt 7. However, these 7 kids aren't normal. Well, to be fair, when you look at the circumstances under which they were born, it makes sense. Each one of them has a unique ability. Abilities ranging from superhuman strength like Luther, the ability to compel and make things happen like Allison, as well as the ability to see and talk to the dead like Klaus, and so much more. Upon hearing about the death of their father, the siblings reunite for a funeral, but things get complicated because a lot of family issues start popping up. Things get even more complicated when their long-lost brother, number 5, who's been missing for years, pops back up mysteriously. He was living in the future and now he's back with knowledge of a coming apocalypse. This dysfunctional family might be the only means of stopping this if they can manage to not kill each other, as well as put aside their issues with themselves as well as each other. As I said earlier, this is a dysfunctional family, and I mean that in the most extreme version of the word. To be fair, when you consider their upbringing, that makes total sense. Their dad has basically been training them since they were little kids to be superheroes. For them, they felt like he treated them more like lab rats, and that seems even more true when you look at the fact is that he never actually even gave them real names. He only referred to them as numbered. However, this dysfunction is actually one of the best aspects of the show. Like I said, each and every member of this family has their own issues. You take Vanya, for example. She's always been a little bit of an outcast in the family because she's the only one that doesn't have abilities, which that whole situation has sparked more than a few issues, not only for Vanya, but the rest of the family as well. And then you have number 5, who is basically a 58-year-old's consciousness back inside of his teenage body again after having lived in a post-apocalyptic future. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Those circumstances in themselves actually tie into a lot of the apocalypse stuff, as well as this organization that's sending agents like Hazel and Cha-Cha after. This organization definitely has its own part to play / its own agenda when it comes to all of this, but I'll leave it at that because we'll be definitely, going into the spoiler territory. The crazy thing is, at the end of the day, this series is about family, and yes, despite all, the dysfunction I brought up and the borderline kind of fucked upness of this family, they might fight, they might argue, they may dislike each other from time to time, and despite the many issues that they have, they do love each other. Whether or not they're able to express that all the time is just kind of a completely different issue all on its own. But when the going gets tough, they are able to come together and look out for each other like a family. That whole family angle is a very deep and heartfelt aspect of the show, reminding you how beautiful and fucked up family can be. This series can be weird, strange, crazy, and as I mentioned earlier, deep and heartfelt. Quite the wild ride for sure. The Umbrella Academy is based on a comic book series of the same name, which at the time we recorded this is still ongoing. Season 2 of the Umbrella Academy premieres on July 31st. Really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good